You're welcome back. It's our phone-in segment where you get to have your say and the segment where your voice matters. Today we're discussing the performance of the 10th National Assembly, which is about 2 years into its tenure. With 477 bills initiated and 25 passed into law in the Senate, and 1,351 bills introduced, with 89 passed in the House of Representatives. The numbers, I would say, are impressive. However, critics argue that the quality of these bills leaves much to be desired, with many bills being recycled from previous assemblies. The National Assembly has also faced criticism for how it's handling key issues like electoral reform, budget oversight, and constituency projects. Now, this morning, we're calling you in to join us as we dissect the successes and challenges of the 10th National Assembly. Have you been following their work? How would you rate them on a scale of 1 to 10? Do you think they are living up to the expectations or they're falling flat on their face? We'd love to hear your thoughts. The numbers and the questions are displayed on your screen. Do well to call in or send us a WhatsApp message and we'll be here to take them. Call in now and let's discuss. Would you say the National Assembly is living up to expectation or the falling flat, 2 years into its tenure? What would you say are the highlights and the lowlights? Where have they stood out? Who has spoken? Who has made more impact? Who is standing out as a legislator or as a representative in that house? Who would you say, okay, this person is speaking up better than the other? And how would you rate the quality of bills being passed? Let's hear your thoughts. Now, if I would say on the highlights, let's give a few from the minimum wage legislation, which would obviously say that what they got right. We can see that there on the screen. The National Assembly passed a bill increasing the national minimum wage by over 100%, mandating compliance across all 36 states. That was one that, was one of their highlights. And that highlights is access to higher education. We also have the digital focus, which we saw that they got that right. Passed the Digital Economy and E-Governance Bill, a bold step towards modernizing public service. The execution is slow and internet access gaps may slow down the progress, but that was being put in. The digital focus was being put in, and in as much as it's slow, but Nigerians are looking forward to it. We also have the cybersecurity law, but let's take our first caller for the morning. Good morning. Tell us your name and where you are calling from. Good morning. Do we still have the caller on the line? All right. Do well to call back or send a message on WhatsApp, and we would be here to have a conversation with you this morning. What is your take? How would you rate the performance of the 10th Assembly? Are they doing well? Are they putting out bills and laws that matter to you? Now, one of the highlights of this assembly has been the cybersecurity law, where they have updated Nigeria's Cybercrime Act to improve digital safety. However, the levy on that is a lot. Electoral reforms, which is in progress. We're seeing a lot of, work has started, but let's hear from Shatima this morning. Good morning, Shatima. Thank you for joining us on Daybreak.
Good morning, Lillian. How are you?
I am fine, thank you. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Thank you very much. Honestly speaking, about the rating of the performance of the National Assembly, to me, I cannot say whether I stand right for her, but to me, it's very, very poor, very, very poor. In the 2 years, we did not see any bill that beneficiary to the Nigerians. Even this one that you highlight on the issue of the national minimum wage, still they did not implement it 100%. Some they give some percentages, and some they just throw things around across the border. So it is not a just minimum wage, if I say. And there is one bill that my representatives have presented. The one that is presenting Maiduguri and Borno Central, because Maiduguri in particular, Honorable candidate Rahim, on the on the, skill acquisition is college. But this is a very important bill. But it's still lingering. We don't know why. We don't know why. Honestly speaking, when a bill, a very sensitive bill, the bill that will touch the life of Nigerians, you see that it will be lingering. But if you say it's a bill like the change of of the national anthem and the rest, it will get a very strict treatment. We don't know why they are doing this. So honestly speaking, they just have to wake up. They have to wake up, or else we will give them a red card. Majority of them they will receive red card. Because Nigerians are watching now. It is all like before. As I'm always saying, divorce money politics. Henceforth, no money politics. If you think you will do what you want to do and use your pocket and come back, you are wrong. You are wrong, honestly speaking. You are deceiving yourself. You have to wake up and do a very good work to Nigerians before we elected you back. I'm calling for all Nigerians. They should please divorce money politics. Let us fight for our country. Let us do whatever we will do to choose the right people and to stay in the right place. Thank you so much. Have a nice day.
Thank you so much, Shettima. God bless Nigeria. He has said that Nigerians should shun money politics and vote for people. Leadership starts across all levels. It doesn't end or start with the federal government. You have your legislators who have constituency projects and have the responsibility of pushing the interests of your constituency out there, pushing the interests of the people out there. So shining a spotlight on, this is what my people need. My people need a university. My people need a college of education. My people need their road here. This is a federal road and I am a federal lawmaker. Please, how can we, put a spotlight on this? My community has A, B, and C resources. How can we enable the state governor and the local government chairman to handle these resources in this local government area? Put in the interest of the people there. But what exactly are they doing? Who are those sleeping? Who are those awake? Who are those passing bills? Who are those talking? Who are those clapping? Who are those watching? How would you rate the 10th Assembly? What's your take on them? Are they putting the interest of the Nigerian people first, or they are just in Abuja taking salaries? Let's hear your thoughts. Do well and Colin. We were looking at some of the highlights. One of them was also, let's take a bit on the low. The lows, where they missed the mark, was on the tax reform. Now, we saw that 70% windfall tax on banks and forex gain, and a lot of, back and forth on the tax reform showed that there was a lot going on there. We'll get to the others, but let's hear from Abasie Kong. Good morning, Abasie Kong.
Good morning, Lily. How are you?
I am fine, thank you. Thank you for joining us.
Sincerely speaking, your television station is one of the best things to have come out of Nigeria. Because each time I watch a program till 10 o'clock, 11 at night, everything about Trust TV is unique. Very, very unique.
Thank you.
I appreciate people. I give you people 10 over 10. I'm rating you people first before rating National Assembly. For National Assembly, I give them 1 over 10. Sincerely speaking, for me, they should scrap it. Why am I saying this? They should scrap it. We follow the footsteps of America. America, that is their system. Ours here is not our system. We should go back to our own system. Why am I saying this? I'm saying this because the 9th Assembly, Mr. Shettima always talk about retirees. They passed a bill on the police, their pension reform. And then they passed it to the president that time for his consent. Up to today, nothing has been done. Look at how people are suffering. What are they doing there? What they keep on doing is to sleep. And then the allocation passed to them. They use it in fact, they travel abroad. Some of them, you will not see them there. So the essence of them being there, I don't know. I don't really know what they are there doing. If you tell me what are they doing, They are doing nothing because they should be scrapped. That is my own. God bless Nigeria. Really, God bless Trust TV. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much, Basekong. Basekong is coming with a different level of violence this morning. He said they should be scrapped completely and we should adopt a method that works for Nigeria. Then again, the phone lines are still open. Let's hear your thoughts. Do well to call in and also send a message via WhatsApp. Now, one of the lows of the National Assembly this tent, which would like to point out, was the rapid passage of the National Anthem Bill. The swift replacement of our national anthem with Nigeria We Hail Thee faced a lot of public outcry, criticism and backlash. Like, was that a priority at that moment? We're dealing with insecurity. We're dealing with economic issues. We're trying to revamp agriculture. The petroleum sector, had a lot going on with it at that moment. Why was the national anthem something quick to just be passed, and they had time and they sat down to talk about and debate about it and passed it when there were other pressing issues? So that was one of the lows of this assembly that is still being looked at with the second eye. Like, are you sure this assembly have our best interest at heart? Another was, legislative engagement. How are these lawmakers, a notable of them do not sponsor bills. A notable of them just sit and watch, and is raising concerns about active participation and representation. Shouldn't there be like a rule saying that in a month or throughout your tenure, there has to be a certain amount of bills you would pass? Otherwise, or in the first 6 months of your tenure, that's a certain amount of contribution you would make. Otherwise, you would be, recalled or something. That has to be put in place, because you have lawmakers, they go there and for the entire 4 years, the only thing they say is aye and nay. If we're really going to be honest about that, for the entire 4 years. So the question is, are lawmakers focusing on issues that directly impact the average Nigerian, such as food, security, education, healthcare? Are the bills they are putting out focusing on what is directly impacting you and I as Nigerians? Or are they there for other purposes that do not serve the interests of the people? Let's hear you. Call in, send us WhatsApp message, and let's have a conversation with you. And how can citizens be more involved in the legislative process, to ensure that laws truly does reflect the needs of the people? How can citizens be carried along a lot more and a lot better to ensure that these laws that are being put in place are really reflecting the people? Do the legislators engage a lot more with the people? This 10th assembly, do they engage the people more than the previous assemblies, or the previous House of Assemblies? Do they engage the people more? Would love to hear your thoughts on that. Let's take the next call. Good morning. Tell us your name and where you are calling from.
Good morning. This is Ade from London.
Good morning, Ade. Thank you for joining us. I am fine, thank you. Good morning.
Yeah. To me, I'm going to rate the National Assembly 35%.
Okay.
The 35% represent that they travel to Abuja and they are in the National Assembly and they are making physically present. So that's why I gave them. But regarding performance, I'm sorry, I don't think they are doing the right thing. Number one, by now, I expect any House of Rep or senators to have proposed a bill to scrap the charges. They are charging innocent Nigerians on bank charges, unnecessary charges. They should scrap it. But nobody, they travel here, they see how it goes when they come to UK. They won't charge you a penny, a dime. If 10 pounds is your account, leave it there for 1 year, the 10 pounds will be there. Nothing will miss. Withdraw it, transfer money, do anything, they don't charge. No single penny charge. You see? So that's why I'm wondering, because I have an account in Nigeria, but sometimes I will see on my email, 200 taking, 300 taking. Me, I can cope with that. But those people who are the poorest of the poor, how would they cope with that?
Indeed.
They don't see that. So none of this House of Rep or Senator who comes here and see the good thing, they cannot pass a bill to scrap those things. And bank will be declaring profit. Which profit? They are robbing the poor people. They say they declare profit. That's number one. Number two, I expect National Assembly by now, any one of them, to have passed a bill to be very strict with security and to make sure that this state police is quickly put into work. And All those who have a vigilante, all these things, they should pass a bill to arm them with AK-47 to protect each person's local environment. So I said them to do that. Number 3, they come here, I said National Assembly to take either senator or House of Rep to pass a bill to have in every local government to have what they call a food bank for those who can't afford anything at all. So nobody will go hungry. And that food bank is that those rich people will donate food there. Bag of rice, not cooked food, bag of gari, yeah, they'll put it there. People can go there locally and have whatever they want, like they do here. So, but nothing like that. All they do is just flamboyant life, buy imported cars, all these sort of things. So we need them. They are the symbol of democracy. That's National Assembly, anywhere. But they should scrap the Senate and leave the House of Rep. It's enough for us because it's too expensive. That's my own view about this. Because otherwise, I don't know where we are going in Nigeria. But I know that we'll get to promised land. God bless Nigeria. Good morning, my sister. Enjoy your day.
Good morning, Adi. God bless Nigeria. Indeed, he's also of the opinion that the National Assembly should be scrapped. And I like the fact that Adi highlighted specific bills that, should be put into consideration that would favor the people. Well, and then, the sarcasm in his rating really did get me because he rated them 35%. And I was like, okay, that's good. Next thing he said, that is for traveling to go and sit in the house and marking attendance. All right. Still on the question and the issue of the day, we are talking about the 10th National Assembly. How would you rate them? Would you say they are putting in the work and putting their back to work? Or would you say most of them are just sitting and being spectators? How would you rate them? How would you rate the quality of bills being passed and how it's affecting your life as a Nigerian and the life of average Nigerians out there? Now, if we want to be honest, we'll look at a few number of them have actually pushed for bills that, have passed first, second reading. Some have even had bills that have been, taken up completely and passed into law. We had Benjamin Kalu from Abia State who sponsored 85 bill, and his significance was the constitutional alteration bill proposing special seats for women in legislative bodies. It has passed second reading under committee review. Now, public reaction is mixed. Advocates praise the push for gender inclusion, while some critique the question of the approach. We also have one passed by House of Reps member Yusuf Gadi of Plateau State. He has sponsored over 20 bills, and the significance was the Police Act 2020, which has been enacted into law. Is it positive, seen as a step towards reforming Nigerian policing system? Amongst aside those, we have others who have contributed and have put out bills out there, but most of them have not been passed. Most of them remain at the level of constitutional review. And, we also have the likes of mentioned Benjamin Kalu. We have the likes of Rep. Saidu Abdullahi from Niger State, who has sponsored 26 bills, which this reflects his active participation in legislative process. Doesn't mean any of them has been passed, but it shows that there's an interest there. But what are the qualities of the bill is something we could also look into. We have Francis Yve from Delta State, who has sponsored 24 bills and has demonstrated his strong commitments through that. Miriam Onoha has sponsored 23 bills, the highest among Imo lawmakers, with 3 already passed in the House. We also have Rep. Manu Soro from Bauchi, who is a young legislator that has sponsored at least 23 bills. We also have for the Senate, this is for the House of Representatives. For the Senate, we have the likes of Senator Ned Nwoko, who is leading with 25 bills and 19 motions, covering areas like economic development and healthcare reform. We also have Senator Tahe Monguno, who has sponsored 23 bills focusing on security, education, and infrastructure. These are issue-based, but how many of them have been passed? How many of them have been looked into? What level are they on? Is it till they are done that they will finally deliberate and put these bills into law? When will it not start having effect on the lives of average Nigerians? We have Senator Michael Bamidele from Ekiti Central, who has sponsored 17 bills, and Senator Ahmed Aliyu from Nasara, who has sponsored 10 bills. So while the number of bills sponsored is commendable, it's important to know that many of them have not progressed beyond the first reading. So many of them have not progressed or gone beyond the first reading. And this says a lot about, the trend of just initiating bill. You know, you're initiating it. How are you following it through and making sure that it goes beyond first reading to the second reading, seeing that it goes through review and is finally being passed and has a public hearing? You know, how are you going? How impactful are these bills to the lives of average Nigerians? But the show is for you this morning, so do well to call in. How would you rate the Nigerian legislators 2 years into office? Would you say they have passed bills that have reflected the lives and the situation of the average Nigerian? Would you say that them sitting there has made a positive impact on the life of you as a Nigerian? What is the way forward? What is your scorecard? Let us rate the 10th National Assembly. Call in and let's hear your thoughts. The phone numbers are displayed on your screen. Do well to call in and we'll be here to have that conversation with you this morning. You know, we're also looking at a little bit touch on the highs and lows. One of the highlights of the National Assembly was an Access to Higher Education Act in 2024. This act, also known as the Student Loan Bill, aimed to improve financial assistance to students, enhancing access to higher education. I would say that's a good highlight. But let's take the next call. Good morning. Tell us your name and where you are calling from.
Hello?
Hello, good morning. Tell us your name and where you are calling from. All right. Please, can you turn down the volume of your TV set and talk to us through your phone?
I'm speaking from other remote state.
All right, go ahead with your thoughts.
The performance of the National Assembly is extremely poor, extremely. Hello?
Yes, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Hello?
All right, it seems he's not hearing us, so do well to call back and let's hear your thoughts. If you're holding back on sending your WhatsApp message, do well to send them because we'll be taking the messages shortly. We have a message, so we'll be taking shortly. So send in your message and let's hear your thoughts. So back to the highlights, you know, the Access to Higher Education Act, which was passed in 2024, and the Federal Audit Service Act Amendment Bill in 2023. This bill was meant to strengthen financial oversight and transparency, ensuring better management of public funds and reducing corruption. Would give it to them as one of the highs, you know, from the legislators. But on transparency and accountability, what mechanisms can be implemented to hold legislators accountable for their performance and participation? You know, I mentioned that earlier. How can they be held accountable at this point in time? You know, should there be a stringent law put in place to see that it is compulsory for them to participate, especially for the interest of their constituency? It's important for them to participate. I always say this on the show, and I said it before. I said, if we put in a law that every legislator would, their source of health care, the only hospital they are meant to go to is the one in their constituency. That is their primary source for healthcare that is assigned to them, and their children will be allowed to attend the primary school, the government primary school in their constituency. If that is being enacted, which we know that they wouldn't because it does not directly affect them, but if that has been enacted, you would find that most local government, most constituencies will have standard hospitals because these lawmakers want to access the best. So imagine putting that. So imagine if you put that in place and say, oh, if you do not participate, you know, that would definitely make you participate as well. But let's take the WhatsApp message we have this morning. We have a WhatsApp message from AZ and Playboy. He says, the 10th Assembly is nothing but a rubber stamp of this administration. There are stooges of this administration and have sold their conscience to the most useless administration we've ever experienced in the history of this country. Yes, that's another angle to it. AZ is talking about the fact that they are a rubber stamp and they are not implementing and having, you know, their own thoughts or holding the executive accountable the way they should. They are not doing that. But this is the most you can take in this segment. We're still talking about the 10th Assembly. So for this segment, which is the interactive segment, this is the most you can take. But we'll be doubling back on this conversation in our discussion segment with our guests. So do stay tuned. We'll be right back.